In some respects, 2021 was a good year for neobanks, also called challenger banks, digital banks, or online banks, like Chime, Varo, and Current. The 10 leading neobanks in the US grew by a little more than 10 million accounts in 2021, from 23.3 million to 33.5 million, according to Cornerstone Advisors. Looks, or in this case, growth, can be deceiving, however. Despite the positive growth numbers, recent neobank news has not been encouraging. It would be easy to attribute the negative neobank press to the overall fintech funk permeating the industry right now. But there are market factors impacting neobanks that are closing the door to new neobanks coming into the market. Cornerstone's research found that only about half of the top 10 neobanks customers, 17.6 million consumers, call their account with those fintechs their primary checking or spending account. In contrast, more than 15 million consumers call PayPal or Square Cash App their primary checking or spending account provider. That's just a small percentage of the roughly 272 million accounts Americans have with these mega fintechs. Do the math, neobanks have to acquire 2 customers to get 1 primary spending account customer. Fintech Business Weekly reported that Varo's cost of customer acquisition is $45. That means it costs Varo $90 to acquire a primary, i.e., engaged, customer. The mega fintechs, on the other hand, already count nearly every smartphone carrying American adult under the age of 55 as an account holder. Their cost of increasing engagement has got to be less than $90 per existing customer. A key point here is that the neobanks don't just compete with incumbent banks, they compete with the mega fintechs, whose platform business models give them scale and revenue diversity. Speaking of revenue diversity, or lack thereof. I don't know who said relying on interchange for revenue was a good idea, but in every argument I've had with a neobank supporter where I've brought up the shortcomings of an interchange-reliant business model, the response has typically been, they'll expand into other revenue sources at some point. The FinTech Brain Food newsletter echoes this call for revenue diversification, suggesting things like tips, real-time payments, subscriptions, and lending. So what are the neobanks waiting for? I've been a supporter of the niche affinity approach to neobanks where community fintechs like Kinley, Daylight, and Panacea Financial serve the unique financial needs of specific consumer segments. This approach requires neobanks to. I'm not sure when the term neobank became popular.